may be seated. Thank you. Thank you. Viewers all over the world, and advice, let's call it worry about tomorrow. I mean worry about future. The book of John 14, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. Verse 2, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. Are you there? I go to prepare a place for you. Let's go to verse 6. Jesus said to him, that is Thomas, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through who? Except through him. Jesus begins by saying, let not your heart be what? Another way to translate that word, troubled, will be agitated, disturbed, thrown into confusion, no matter the message, no matter what is happening around you. Don't be agitated and stressed out and thrown into confusion. The law is not saying in that text that we lack reason to be troubled. What he is really saying is that there is a greater reason not to be what? Not to be troubled. That is what he's saying. And what are the reasons? Whatever you are facing as a Christian, it may be to stop you a while in order to prepare you for the greater challenges. No matter the situation you are facing, could be sickness, could be poverty, could be hardship, just name any foolish thing you are facing at this time. As a Christian, it may be to stop you a while in order to preserve you, in order to reform you, in order to keep you for a new level. That is greater reason not to be what? Not to be troubled. We can all acknowledge that life is filled with trouble. We can all acknowledge. As a Christian, look through your immediate surroundings. What you see, economic oppression, physical oppression, religious oppression, moral oppression, demonic oppression. This is why the book of Job 5 verse 7 says, man is born to trouble. Man is born to what? To trouble. From the moment you leave your mother's womb, you encounter trouble. Life begins with a doctor's slap on our backside. When baby is removed from the mother's womb, the first thing to make him or her crying out, they will hold the two legs. Life begins with a doctor slap on our wall. From the moment you leave your mother's womb, they will get your two legs to know whether you are alive or not. I'm alive! I'm alive! We all face almost daily disappointment. We are unhappy with ourselves because we so hardly live the way we want to live. We want to be strong, but we find ourselves weak. We want to be courageous, but we feel overcome by fear. Many fear exists. Fear of sickness, fear of failure, fear of false accusation, rejection. Fear, 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 fear. We want to be courageous, but we feel overcome by fear. We want to be successful, but we fail repeatedly. We want to be loved, but people seem indifferent to us. But don't forget, my brother, the better a man is, the worse he is thought of by his rivals. Tell your neighbor, the better a man is, the worse he is thought of by his rivals. The cause of envy is everything good. Everything good in you is the cause of envy, and the effect and results. The consequence of envy is everything bad. If you don't want people to envy you, you are finished. No more jealous. Nothing good about you. You don't want people to talk about you again, accusing you. You know there's nothing good in you. The better a man is, the worse he is thought of by his rivals. The result, the effect, the consequence of envy is everything bad. Worrying about future destroys our sense of judgment. Tell your neighbor, worrying about tomorrow destroys our sense of judgment. When you worry about tomorrow, about future, you cripple your ability to think, your ability to act, and exercise faith in the present. When you begin to think of what am I going to eat next? When I leave here, where am I going? What will happen next? In 2 minutes, you are putting yourself in position of God. That is where God is. That is where God lives. He lives in our future. He owns our future. You now, God, next. God live in future. Where God live is next. You live now. When you think about tomorrow, future, next, you cripple your ability to think, your ability to reason, your ability to act, and to exercise faith in the presence. When you know you are to use today's supplies and let tomorrow be, you will not misbehave with today's supplies. When you know you are to use today's supply and let tomorrow be, you will not misbehave with today's supplies. We misbehave with today's supply. That is the cause of killing, stealing, and destruction. The cause of killing, stealing, and destruction is the urge to store up wealth here on earth. That is the cause of killing. Lying against your fellow brother, insincerity, that is the cause. If you depend on today's supply alone, you have no reason to damage your colleague. Anxious about tomorrow is the cause of corruption today. Misappropriation. Anxious about tomorrow is the cause of what? Corruption and what? Drafts. When we are anxious about tomorrow, you will not be able to differentiate between God's supplies and Satan's bait. Call it bait. B-A-I-T. That is anxious of whatness, what to eatness. What to eatness. When Satan now bring food, you will not know the difference between that food of Satan and God's. You just need food. Remember what Jesus said to Satan? He said, "It is true I'm hungry, but I'm not desperate." They said to Satan, "It is true, I'm hungry, but I'm not desperate." When Satan said, "I will give you this, he said, "Okay, you will give me, but it is true, I'm hungry, but I'm not desperate. I'm not anxious. Go to hell with your food." Tell your neighbor, use today's supply and let tomorrow be. I can hear you. Use today's supply and let next be. Tomorrow start from next. Next minutes, next second. Next second is tomorrow. That is my language here. You may be thinking that tomorrow when you wake up is what I'm talking about. It's a parable. Next second means tomorrow. Next second means future. Yes, use today's supply and let next be. If you live by this principle, the spirit of killing, stealing, and destruction, envious, jealousy, I want to be like TB Joshua, I want to be like you, that will not come. You are what God says you are. But because you are not dependent on today's supply and let tomorrow be, this makes you to begin to compare yourself. That man, I want to be like him. Okay, do you know when this man is leaving this world? I want to be like that woman. Do you know when this woman is leaving? Okay, if you say I want to be like this man, okay, I want to die when this man dies. But you are not interested in that, you just want to be like that man. When you open your wardrobe, you see many attire which are enough for you to use. But you keep buying more, because you want to look like that woman. The Bible says, let not your heart be troubled. The law is not saying here that we lack reason to be troubled. What he is really saying is that there is greater reason not to be. You will see a very young graduate wear dress begging for alms in our midst here. Maybe after closing, we'll be looking for transport to go back. This is economic oppression, poverty everywhere. Okay, if you give that transport back home, what will young graduate eat at home? Where is he living? Look around, you see religious oppression, intolerance, violence everywhere. Are you talking of moral oppression? Institutionalized corruption in high places? If you are a follower of him, a believer, you will use today supplies and let tomorrow be. Let next be. Today's trouble is enough for today. God is aware of our challenges and he prepares us for each day's challenges. Ministers of God all over the world, God actually prepares us and gives us the weapon. If we depend on today's supply and let tomorrow be, the grace of God will continue. Let me give you a good example. Many churches by now supposed not to have branches. As a result of branches, actually led to trouble in churches today. The discipline is supposed to start from where the church started from, but branches has lost the discipline everywhere because they cannot connect with the source. See where I am today. People keep carrying synagogue, they say fellowship, they say fellowship. But give them 2 weeks, it will become church. People's ambition is so great that they don't mind how the man that was called by God started and the calling he received initially. They don't mind. Imagine this has happened to this ministry. It will have been a different story for this ministry. The greatest sin anyone can commit is for you to say you are doing fellowship and you turn it to church. Fellowship is where people sit and watch Imane TV. Nothing more. If I'm talking to you, let me see your hand. But a situation where it's no longer a fellowship, you call it church, you begin to do otherwise, it's a grievous sin. Use today's supply and let tomorrow be. Anxious about tomorrow, about next, is the cause of killing, stealing, and destruction. Back to our text. Jesus tells us in that John 14, there are troubles in the world, but don't be worried. And stretched out and thrown into what? To confusion. Though there is a reason to be troubled, there is a greater reason not to be. Because he said, believe in my Father and believe in me. Whatever situation you are facing will only prepare you for extraordinary service. Whatever situation you are facing will only stop you a while and preserve you for the future. If you depend on today's supply and let tomorrow be, no matter the difficulty, no matter the situation, you with God are majority.